How is everything going, boys and girls? We are directly here with you guys, and we are going to talk about that stonk market. Meatball is here, and we just had a huge hailstorm here in the South Bay. Pretty cool. You guys saw me dancing in the hail over on the Instagram. Andrew Mo Money, always be plugging. We have some stonks to talk about. GME is at 253 and change, and AMC is at $10 flat. $10 flat is down on the day, but 5% down. This is a pretty darn volatile market, AMC and GME, all things considered. GME is just hovering right above 2 to 3% up on the day after a significant amount of turbulence. You guys know that there was a ton of turbulence. You guys have some work to do. You guys have some work to do to catch up on the DD, which is why we are going to do all the best that we can to make sure that you guys are getting covered as much as possible. Now, let me see if I can check the sound. 2 to 3% up on the day after. Beautiful sound to me. How's it going, guys? Okay. Hello, what's up? How's it going? Dow Tran, Sophia, Zion Visionary, Alexander Green, Alicia Routledge. We have Harry Lewington, Nathan Wood, and Tara Jones. Tara says, I feel like I gave birth to a baby I wasn't allowed to keep. A lot of you saw 5-figure increases today. That was pretty huge. A couple of you gave me those chilies in the chat. Go ahead and give me chilies in the chat if you had 5-figure increases when GameStop went all the way up to $350. You see right here, we have those green numbers on the right here. High of $348.50 and an open at $268.24. That's up on the day of the market close, whereas $246.90. Now, since then, we saw ridiculous climbs all the way up from several levels of resistance, 10 levels of resistance. We saw a dive down below 340 to 336, 320. We got 280 here. We had 260. We had 248. This is what the price was pushing the last few days. Then it dipped below 238. That is when we started to see some real trouble. This was halted multiple times. As you guys can see, we dropped all the way down below the strong resistance of 200 and down to 180. This is where we were caught. We were feeling good about the heat, and then we saw some incredible swings upward because, as it turns out, we were not afraid, and we are not gonna stand by while the WallStreetBets people, those wacky kids, are still holding bags. We are coming directly for you. Those of you who had bag hold be above a 200, above 300, and above 400, we are here for you. So one of the things that I want you guys to cover is to make sure that you guys have your eyes tuned to the top right chart, GME, and the top left chart, AMC. Of course, we have our bully corner on the bottom left, and that is SLGG. Today, we saw some pretty significant bullish momentum. I also want to point out that we had costs go up above 100% on the day. It is now suspended. It is up 62% on the day. Still pretty high gains, but we are not here to talk about costs. It's not a cost benefit analysis. This is a GME and AMC analysis. Hi, Andrew, says Rodrigo Sierra. Does the mark 345 was significant today? Not sure, but that the January squeeze is up to 344. Greetings from Mexico. Hola, how's it going? Buenos tardes. Let's see if we have a little bit of news here. We are focusing right on the precipice of Power Hour. We have about 35 minutes left in Power Hour, and we are making it rain right now. Papa Andrew, GME, AMC. Yes, we are talking about GME and AMC. Like you guys saw before, we had the strong DD of the amount of shares still left to approach their strike prices. This is the options that we were talking about before. Now let me make sure that we actually get to the right screen. There we go. How the gamma squeeze will trigger the short squeeze. Right now we have all these strike prices that GameStop soared above. At its peak, the number of shares that were in the money at 345 was 3,269,000.
1,000. That's the number of necessary buys that the hedge funds will have to take a position on when when all of these all of these calls become in the money. If you guys are not familiar with the gamma squeeze, we'll cover that in just a second, but that is the title of the video of exactly what is going on and what are we looking for. Let me change the title to live market close. Live, why did GME and AMC dip? Will they gamma squeeze tomorrow? Okay, so here we go. Let's see. The real gig, thank you for the super. GME be strong. Andrew, thanks for all the support. Special thanks to my brother Mahir for keeping me strong, holding my stocks. Cheers from the Netherlands. Thank you so much. I remember you from earlier on the live stream. I appreciate that. Charles Anderson, thank you for the super. Hey, Andrew, did you see that tweet from Mr. David Neo showing an article posted minutes before the huge dip today? I did not. Let's go check out that on Twitter. So we are always looking at the largest conglomeration, the largest gathering of these diamond apes, the Moon Platoon. Let me see some scissors in the chat because we have jettisoned a lot of paper hands from the ultimate prisoner's dilemma that we're going to have to play together, right? One of the most important pieces is that, one, we have many different interviews coming up. We have one with Trades later today on his channel talking about the AMC earnings report. Two, we're talking about Josh coming on the show. He gave me an exact time. He said 6 p.m. Germany, which means that's going to be 9 a.m. tomorrow. Josh is going to come on the show and we are going to hear from him again. Okay, so let me look at that tweet that you guys are talking about. While you guys are here, hey, how's it going? Welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm a data scientist, and I would love for you to smash that subscribe button and that bell button. I'm sure all of you did already, because otherwise, how would you have known that this live stream was going on? Thank you guys for jumping on. I hope you guys like the tunes of the standby before we got started. So let's see. Hashtag GME, Mr. David Neo, 53 minutes ago. So the article comes before the crash. Would you say the market manipulation by Wall Street? So let's see what he is doing here. So we have this tweet from Mr. David Neo. Shares topped record close and we're heading to, so this is MW update. GameStop stock was reaching new heights, but the meme stocks just plummeted. This is from 11:55 a.m. EST. However, this the plummet did not happen until 12:20 p.m. EST. Now that is suspicious. That is something that the SEC is going to have to look into for sure. Cannot tell for certain whether or not this this is a actual proof that there is some serious actual manipulation, but this article does seem to come before the crash. Let us make it clear again. MW update. GameStop stock was reaching new heights, but the meme stocks just plummeted at 11:55 a.m. EST, and then at 12:20 was the actual fall. If anybody in the chat has any ideas about what this is, how that could be possible that an article about the fall comes out before the actual fall, let us hear it. Stealth says, make sure to not confuse GMEI for GME. Someone accidentally bought it instead and sent the stocks 100x the price. Tony Jerome, welcome to the Meatball the Professor tier. You just got your certificate of satisfaction. That means that you are supporting the show along with a bunch of these other people, and you will be on this list starting tomorrow. Thank you so much for supporting the show right there. And Mr. or Mrs. Gritter Plays, ever since Richard Greenfield, an analyst, said the AMC is only worth 1 penny, this price started dropping. Does he work for hedge funds? Sus, right? Yeah, that does seem pretty dang sus. AMC is still down on the day, down 6% now, below the $10 mark. We were hoping that it was going to stay and supported by this $9.90 mark here. It is looking like we have to be able to support it with a little bit of a tiny margin and on top on 1035 above. So let us look at GameStop a little closer. Thank you for the super, Andrew P52, 1220 PST. The shot heard around the world. Let's go and zoom in a little bit more. 1220, I believe it was EST. The time zone says EST on the article. Let's see. People are talking about the article now. Richie Thomas says, when GME had a massive fall, the first thing I did was log back to check if you're alive. I humbly request that you to please not leave us during such volatility. Please, I will try my best. People did request a bathroom break. 9,000 of you were in the chat. 11,000 concurrent viewers at the very peak, so that was very, very cool. Paul Tet says, why do you think the SEC still cares about the little guy? Fair enough. Doggo Pets, please. Of course you got that. Doggo Pets right here. Fabian says, you are the MVP. There is nothing better than joining a week event and seeing you're still a work event and seeing that you're still live afterward. That's a big pleasure of mine. Bank Rober. What happened? I was gone and we dropped 50%. Can someone tell us what happened? Yeah, we are about to talk about what has happened. Pampered Puppy, only a few shares of GME because you can't afford anymore. Join the AMC squeeze. We're on the ground floor now. Try not to change horses in the middle of two different meme stocks. Whatever you are supporting, we support you. We are not here to give you financial advice, just to give you some positivity in your life and some entertainment, of course. Okay, so let's see. That's ridiculous, people are saying about that article. Can you check the time zones on those tweets? Time zone difference could easily look like foul play. Fair enough. Let's see. Didn't someone get fired from Citadel today? Possibly. Oh, War Doctor, thank you so much for joining the Meatball Army as an officer. I salute you. You are now an officer of the Moon Platoon by joining the Meatball, the Professor tier. You just got your MBA, your certificate of satisfaction. We're not here to certify you. We're just here to satisfy you. GME going up. We are seeing a small run up for GME up to $267. That's up 8%. That does feel good. If you guys bought at 170, you probably feel like absolute kings. Ape Gang says, pet the doggo. We got you. We got you. We gotta get him these pets right here. Jessabelle says, holy smokes, you're live again, Andrew. You're a beast. Thank you, Jessa. You are the beast. Let's be real here. GME is pushing right now. Let's go, let's go. So we have AMC pushing above $10. We have GME pushing above 267. This feels good, especially since it is the last few minutes of Power Hour. If you guys have not seen that like button, it is missing out on your clicks. We have $100 of GME, $200 of GME, $250 of GME. We cracked this before. We'll crack it again. That's 250 big boy Benjamins of GME, and we continue to rise. If you guys saw the explanation from Hey It's Pixel, that will probably shine a little bit of light on exactly what is happening. As a reminder, Hey It's Pixel will be here. He will be here tomorrow on the channel at 9 a.m. PST. Holding the line here. Let's see if Hey It's Pixel or Josh has any brand new updates, because he did say that he was going to update the DD as time went on. Okay, one sec. We got GME 500K floor. Oh my goodness. We got a brand new member, Krimmer. Thank you so much. Richie Thomas, thank you so much. For the two of you that just joined, you are now part of the Meatball Army, Advanced Infantry. Mr. Krimmer, thank you for joining as an officer of the Meatball Army. This is big, 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 big. Thank you so much. It does mean that you are directly supporting the Meatball Army stream and the Moon Platoon. Thanks you kindly. Okay, so looks like we had edit 1 and edit 2, edit 3, edit 4, edit 5, edit 6, edit 7, and edit 8. Holy moly. Okay, so it seems like there are a lot of updates on this Hey It's Pixel thread, and we're going to cover them all together. Hugo, thank you for the super. Do you know what the message that Robinhood is talking? Exchange and SEC impose trading halts on individual stocks. How does that affect us GME holders? I haven't seen that. But if you haven't gotten out of Robinhood yet, I'm so sorry, but you're about to run out of time because the amount of volatility could indicate a squeeze is imminent before the actual transfer time it takes to get out of Robinhood. So what I recommend is use the link in the description to get into WeBull, because at the very least then you'll have an extra account to work with the market in case one of these two brokers end up getting flagged. and we do not want that to happen. Eric Gomez, thank you so much for joining the ranks of the Meatball Army. I appreciate that. You guys found the join button next to the subscribe button, and now you know what it means to have real authority. And by which I mean, you get a cool green flare on your name, and you get cool emojis as well. Elliot K, I need that emotional support monkey after that dip. I seriously agree. Thank you, Voodoo Kitty, for joining the ranks. You have just joined the ranks of the Meatball Army. Thank you so much. Optical Illusion says, if only Meatball knew how much we love him. Meatball, I think, on the inside knows just how much all of you have loved him. Hey, Pixel is so kind. He's like, I hope it's not too early tomorrow. Not at all. I stream at 6 a.m. Each morning. Oh man, it's okay. It's okay, guys. I'm on the wrong coast. I need to go onto the Eastern Coast to be able to not wake up so early in the morning. So we have what just happened. Here's what he thinks. Hey, it's Pixel. He's gonna go on the show tomorrow, but let's cover what he has to say now. Can't stress this enough. Read the edits. Same people are asking the exact same questions. Let's make sure that we are covering this the way that he intends for us to cover it. What just happened? Here's what he thinks. Prepare for a sweet gamma squeeze. Sweet gamma squeeze. Ooh, PHP. You're giving me PHP money. I bought 10K of GME because I like this channel and all the apes who subscribe to this channel. Hodl. Thank you, Kula Shaker, or Kula Shaker 30 for the super. Chris Apuya, thank you so much for joining as part of the Meatball Army, and Sophia, thank you so much for joining as part of the Meatball Army. I really appreciate it. You guys are now in the advanced infantry ranks of the Moon Platoon, and I greatly appreciate it. It is 100% what keeps this stream running. And Reptar Yoshi, thank you so much for the super. 420, of course. Opinion on $800 GME call expiring 312. We have plenty of research about GME and the number of calls at each number. In my opinion, there's like a big jump between the last $780 and $800 price strike prices. There's like 5 million shares in between those two, so a lot of people are banking on it. And that's the reason why this thumbnail has 800 in the top right corner, is because we are waiting for that beautiful $800 mark. Lunacy, thank you for joining as an officer of the Meatball Army. I really appreciate that. That is an indication that you have gotten your certificate of satisfaction. We're not here to certify you. We're here to satisfy you. Okay, we have only 22 minutes before market closes, and we are looking at 4,000 of you smashing that like button, pressing that subscribe button. I appreciate it a ton. What just happened? Here's what I think. Prepare for a sweet gamma squeeze. Let's look at edit 1. Someone wants this to moon really bad and loaded up on over 60,000 additional options between 300 and 400, expiring Friday, March 12th. That is this Friday. That is an increase of another 20,000 calls from just 10 minutes ago. Edit 2, another 8,000 calls at 800 were bought within the last 5 minutes. That is 100 stocks per call. That's 8 million stocks. That is insanity. What time is Josh going to join tomorrow? He says at 9 a.m. PST, which is going to be noon EST. Edit 3, I just refreshed the options page 3 times within this few seconds, and there are more and more options coming in each second. People are getting the gamma squeeze primed. We heard that the gamma squeeze is coming, and people came in droves. Someone wants this to be much bigger than we originally anticipated. Edit 4, they're going to update all the numbers later. There's literally no point because the call volume keeps increasing every few seconds at this moment. Edit 5, why did they do this today and not tomorrow so the SSR rule is active for Friday? Because Josh thinks without this intervention, we would have mooned today if we hit 350. As you guys know, we only hit 348.50, but the gamma squeeze wouldn't have been as big as it will be now because they loaded up on almost 100,000 more call options. Take this with a huge grain of salt. This is just getting me excited as hell, but Josh, as much as I love the man, has not always been 100% right, so that's why do not at him if this is wrong. Do not at me if this is wrong. If you cannot stand the amount of risk, volatility, and change that is inherent in this volatile stock right now, read this and then get out of the stock, because we are going to get scissors in the chat. Get me some scissors, because we do not need paper hands now. They do not deserve to be with us on Valhalla. No hate, it's just true. Thank you, JP Sanchez, for the super. I hope I didn't miss someone becoming a super. Nope, Lunacy, already got you. So this is exactly what is happening, right? We are looking at someone, maybe a third-party institution, that has changed the game of how much the squeeze is going to squoze, right? It's Josh's opinion that today would have been the gamma squeeze if it wasn't for the fact that this person wanted to test how much do we actually care about this squeeze. So they sold a ton of shares at the top, and now we have something entirely different, an entirely different beast, as it turns out. That is 10 million more shares having to get bought just by today's additional call volume. An extra 10 million. That is almost double what we saw, up to $800 that we talked about. The live stream, we talked about the DD that we covered earlier. I think that they wanted to make this moon even more all along, and now this was the right at all and last moment to prepare for the biggest gamma squeeze ever. At 6, they actually just used the same tactic 2 weeks ago, and they found out about it beforehand, and we can check out this in a second. And then at 7, just wanted to clarify, the open interest for options gets updated end of day tomorrow. Then we will see how many new calls were added exactly. Volume is not one-to-one to OI, but seeing this huge spike volume at the moment gives me reason to believe that they added a scheisse ton of calls. As I said, how many exactly? We will see tomorrow. At 8, why did news outlets get in on this so quickly? They probably didn't think about it and just wanted to push the GME squeeze is over 2.0 narrative ASAP to help Citadel and friends sell off a huge panic sell. So once again, we have a ton of edits here, but the most important point is that the SSR was triggered. It dropped to $222. So that means that shorts are going to have a lot harder time shorting starting when the SSR was triggered and into tomorrow. And when the price of the stocks tanked, a lot of other stocks tanked as well. This is a bunch of his stocks in his own portfolio. And then we are now patiently waiting with bated breath on open interest and volume for the options in the evening and tomorrow, right? That was his edit before. But let us make it as clear as it can be. Will it start today? I don't think so, but it is possible. We could see a rise in price today, and tomorrow GME will moon because the SSR rule is in place. They think that it will close at 250 to 280, and tomorrow will be going to the moon before the short squeeze. Nathan Prince, thank you for the super. Andrew, are you and Trey going to tag team the AMC reporting? That would be awesome. Yes, we are. Trey had to cancel earlier today because of work. He is busy defending the nation. And now we are going to be calling together at 3 p.m. PST or 5 p.m. CST on his time. So that's going to be 2 hours after market is closed. And speaking of which, there's only 15 more minutes before the market is closed. So what is the SSR rule? The short sale rule, or SSR, is also known as the alternative uptick rule, or SEC rule 201. So next time you saw DC 201, you should be able to fully understand. The SSR restricts short sales on a stock that has declined in price by 10% or more from the previous day's close. This is important. Why logically does this make sense? Well, first of all, it's kind of like changing the predatory nature of shorts. Shorts are essentially a sell that you borrow from the future. I want to sell the stock, but I don't own it. So how can I sell something I don't own? You can just do it. You can just do it, and that's called a naked short. It's used specifically for larger institutions to be able to make an async transaction, right? Asynchronous. We originally had to find someone to sell this share by borrowing it from someone, but now instead I'm just gonna sell it and I'll find out who to borrow it from later. And that is pretty rough. That's called covering. That's called turning your naked short into a covered short. And as of right now, there are so many naked shorts out there that it seems very manipulative, because when you do short a stock and temporarily makes the stock worth less, and that is 100% what this SSR rule is supposed to be for. It restricts the shorts on a stock that already declined by 10%, because it's essentially like a shield against predators like hyenas that are trying to get on one stock to turn it into dust. The more stock gets shorted, the worse it performs. That's why we want to be able to prevent that from happening. That's why SEC Rule 201 exists here. Seraphim, thank you so much for the super. I have an option call for 416. Will volatility take a crash after earnings today, or am I fine to still hold them hold on to them. So I'm assuming you have AMC option call. I cannot give you financial advice, but you do expect severe turbulence when the call actually happens, and I will be on Trey's channel to cover exactly that. So they cannot short on the upticks, but they can only short on the upticks, not on the downticks. What happens when they short on upticks? Nothing. They did that the last few days. The price dropped $10 to $15 and immediately recovered a few minutes after. People also bought every dip, making it look like there is no way out for Citadel and friends. So this is currently the game, right? We have SSR triggered. This seemed to be triggered by someone either testing our metal, or perhaps they gave it our all. They used the nuclear option and they still failed. 15 minutes left and GameStop is looking healthier than ever, pushing against that 273 new resistance. Honestly, if it wasn't for all of the endowment effect, looking at 348 on the day and feeling like, oh, that's an opportunity cost right there. No, it's just the endowment effect, right? You did not miss out on anything. Just imagine this on the day. A 10% day is very good by itself. Just consider it in a vacuum. So we're arriving close to 5,000. Just objectively, when you think about the stock market, right? And think about growing your wealth. 10% on a day, 10% on each day, 8 times is double your money. 12 times, and that's triple your money. 10% is nothing to sneeze at, and that's why when people are, if anybody tells you, yeah, this is just an excuse, this is just rationalizing a dead cat, why? How does this look dead cat to you? You're looking at almost 10% up, and we have been green during a sea of red for a very long time, and we have not changed today. We have not changed today at all. Whew, okay, so we got scissors in the chat to clear out all of those paper hands. We have 10 minutes, 12 minutes left on the day. We got almost 5,000 of you in here. So what can I say other than check out Brandon's tweet right up there. If he can get 5,500 likes, he can buy another 1,000 in GME, as he's not going anywhere, right? We got 800 likes in the chat. Let's just try. Let's just try to get up to 5,500 likes before we have to go live with Trey and talk about the AMC earnings report. Oh boy. So, David Pavlin, thank you for the super. In your opinion, is it possible that the stock gets restricted once it moons and would be difficult for people to get out? Do I think that people are going to have trouble selling? That's never happened before. Right? Selling a stock hurts it. Selling a stock turns is exactly what paper handing does, right? So if people are afraid it goes up too high, or the clearinghouses make brand new tricks, we could see restricting of buying again. But once again, if you have multiple ways of accessing the market, such as buying, such as getting yourself a WeBull account if you don't have it already, or thinking about diversifying your accounts, like one for TD Ameritrade, one for Fidelity, and one for WeBull, then you'll be pretty good shape. You'll have real-time analysis that you can do on WeBull, and then you can even keep it on the back burner. Don't buy any stocks with it. Just have it as a research tool, and when all of the other options are maybe restricted or there's a network error, suddenly you have WeBull left that you can use to buy the stocks. So there you go. Give yourself options. Thank you so much for joining the Meatball Army, Raymond Urbano. Hey, if you don't have any money to your name because you spent it all on GME and AMC, that's okay. There's a $0 option to joining the Meatball Army, to joining the Moon Platoon, and that is the subscribe button, right? This video is brought to you by the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button nice and hard, because 5,000 of you, listen to me, I know at least 40% of you are not subscribed. Do you want me to, let's go and short my estimate that at least 40% of you are not subscribed, right? Call options on my estimate at 40% of you are not subscribed. Slime that subscribe button, hit that bell button, and let's go to the moon together. We've been growing at an incredible pace. We were at 20,000 subscribers just 9 days ago, right? On Sunday of the last Sunday. And back then we had Josh come on the show both Saturday and Sunday. That boosted the channel a ton, and he will be back tomorrow on the show at 9 a.m. PST. Firespark says, you should cover Roaring Kitty's new tweets. 800 shares of GME. Diamond handing this until my wife's boyfriend is proud. Wow, 800 shares of GME for an $800 price target. That's a pretty auspicious number right there. Essential Hard Worker, how's it going? Thank you for the super. Did this ruin AMC squeeze chance? I'm in AMC, not asking financial advice, just curious. I don't think it did much to AMC. It's still red on the day for sure, but it was poking around $11 in pre-market and coming up on $12 as well. We do not think that AMC is at all performing as unexpected, because we even told in the beginning of this morning's live stream, we knew that AMC was going to be attacked today because of an earnings report that it could not beat. It just couldn't beat it. Let's see. GME is making one last ditch effort to try and get above 270. 280 is the mark right now. If you guys have been looking at the VWAP this entire time, you have noticed that we are finally almost approaching that price. Just like one of you in the live stream said, the volume WAP is all that matters when it comes back to just rational thinking. Those of you who bought it down at 180 and knew the price should come back up and match the VWAP, you are about to be vindicated big time. If you guys are not sure what the VWAP is, I talk about that on an isolated video on the channel, so go ahead and just scroll down. The thumbnail just has a big old WAP on it. Belly rubs for Doggo means subscription for Papa Andrew. Belly rubs for Doggo. Give me ball a big old rub here. You go. He's feeling like he got tuckered out from running around in the hail today. Made in Michelle, not able to verify the SSR triggered a NASDAQ site. Well, we have it right here on some third-party stock that tests whether or not the SSR gets triggered. It's basically a done deal at this rate. Oh, love the work rate, Andrew, says MM58. I'm trying. We are trying to get this bread together, so that's why I am here talking about all that bread. Delicious. We just got 42069 subs. The next big milestone is 69,420. And we are, you might think that we are like 25,000 subs away, right? And you would be right. But that is something that we are going to cover in just no time at all. So if you guys want to help out to get to 69,420, we are looking for subscribers, new recruits for the Moon Platoon, and we need you to start investing in yourself. Voodoo Kitty, thank you so much for the super. Where in your region do you prefer to go climbing? If we say 2K a share, I will promise to go climbing with you. Oh, I appreciate it. I haven't talked about climbing in such a long time. I'm talking about bouldering right now. I used to go to a climbing gym. Of course, all gyms have been closed during the pandemic. I would love to go back to them soon. There's a big chain of them throughout the Bay Area, so I would love to go out and climb with you, my friend. Thank you for the super. Can we finally talk about AMC? AMC, there's not much to talk about. There is an entire earnings report later on that is likely going to underperform, and then we are gonna see likely a short attack followed up to pretend like these are conflating events, that one of these is affecting the other. A bad earnings report and suddenly a big sell-off? Uh-oh, seems like the squeeze isn't happening, right? Is the narrative that I would do if I was an evil hedge fund and Mr. Citadel and friends were trying to rig the game. So there you go. Just think about exactly how you would be a villain in this situation, and it becomes a little easier. If you guys are wondering about other tricks that the Citadel and friends could do, I have an entire video on the channel that's just called Citadel Tricks, hedge fund tricks, and other things that they could do. So go check that out. Limited time says like, God, I miss going to the pool. Yes, I walk by the pool almost all the time, and it is very sad to not be able to go to the pool that is right down like a 5-second walk. Oh man. Come on, 300. So GME currently is, what the heck? Thank you, Sean Salinas. Give Meatball a treat for me, and wanted to thank you for your hard work live streaming and keeping our diamond hands calm and giving us crucial DD. You're our GME Tom Brokaw. Thank you so much. That is a big deal. You know what? Actually, that's such a nice thing to say. I'm going to screenshot that because that's so nice to hear. Let's see. Boom, boom. This is my conversation with Hey It's Pixel. Once again, just to remind you, Hey It's Pixel says, oh, he just responded. 5 minutes before the markets are closed, he says, perfect, that's 9 a.m. PST. He says, I hope it's not too early for you. I say, not at all. I stream at 6 a.m. each morning. And he says, all right, I might be on sooner then. Looking forward to it. You guys heard it here. Mr. Hey It's Pixel is going to be on the show tomorrow. Okay, so let's get this out and make sure we are ready for power hour. Everybody, come on, get the powers flowing. The powers that be. Meatball, give us the power we need to end the day on a positive note. Right now, we're looking at both AMC and GME. AMC is down 10 cents on the $10 mark. It's at $9.88. And GameStop is currently hovering up 6% up on the day, right below that $260 resistance level. This is where GameStop has been hovering above for the last few minutes of the day, and we had a thought at the very least that this would be a positive outlook, being able to support GME at 260. As of right now, it has dipped below that mark, and let's see if it actually rises above. Okay, oh my goodness. Someone said, I'm from the future and GME is going to hit 500K. Well, the future person hopped on this live stream and told you, so there you go. As a reminder, this is not financial advice. We already told everyone that turbulence was coming, and then exactly 10 minutes later, it happened. So if you are not ready to go to the moon with us, that's okay. Turn in your ticket now. Go ahead and do whatever it takes for you to exit your positions, because we don't need paper hands on the moon. We don't need paper hands on the moon. This is just my strongest opinion. No hate at all. You do you, but if you don't have the stamina, you don't have the faith that GameStop is going straight to the moon after all of these DDs that we have covered for the past month and a half, I have nothing else more to say. I have nothing else more to say. You can be whoever you want to be, because this is not financial advice. I cannot tell you to do anything. I can't even tell you to sell, even if you wanted to. So there you go. Be your own best friend when it comes to research, and invest in yourself, starting with right here, the subscribe button. So go ahead and bring it in. We have just a few more minutes, 2 more minutes left on the day. We are seeing the AMC trading far below the VWAP. Unfortunately, as of right now, it seems like the volume weighted average, it should be somewhere above $11, but unfortunately it does not seem like it's going to rise above it today, and is getting stuck, just sandwiched between two very close levels of resistance and support. This is why AMC continues to trade sideways. GME, on the other hand, is currently struggle busing at 260, and it is dipping below that 263 resistance level. This is something that is likely going to cause GME a little bit of struggling tomorrow as well, but overall 5% up on the day. That is very good news for the theories that Josh has had about gamma squeezes and about whether or not they're happening tomorrow. We had a chance to be able to start having massive price action. We made it $100 higher than where we were before. That is still a solid 1 Benjamin Franklin, 2 Benjamin Franklin, and 50% of a Benjamin Franklin. That's $260. We're feeling pretty darn good about that today, and we are Diamond Ape strong right now. If you wanted positivity, you wanted some awesome battle music for the end of your day, here it comes. Ooh, ah, ju, 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 ba, 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 ba. Beat your chest right now, guys. Beat your chest. Hit that like button. We are making strong moves for GameStop to finish above 260. Just remember, we don't even have solid dates yet. We don't even have solid strike prices for the new calls that just happened because of this crazy shenanigan, but 10 million additional contracts, 10 million additional shares will likely be added by tomorrow, and that is going to just start a massive cascade for the buying action of the call options. More call options, getting in the money is a way bigger squeeze in the end of the day. This is 100% going to be when history is made. And the markets are closed. Today, GameStop had a respectable growth of 6.21%, had a crazy low. Gunter, thank you so much for joining the Meatball Army as a specialized infantry operations. GameStop has a 172 low. That is $100 lower than the price it closed at. Is that good? Well, just look at the volume, 70.5 million in terms of the volume. That is double yesterday. That is insanity, and a high of 348.50. right? We had so many shares that would have been in the money, and Josh is bullish on the idea that if they actually crossed 250, the gamma squeeze would have been uncontainable right there and right then. So tomorrow, if you still are if you're still out of the light and in the dark, we are going to talk directly to Hey It's Pixel on this show. He might even show up earlier than 9 a.m., so you do want to start tuning in as early as you can. Woo. David Roberts sent you a message on Instagram, D&D Frenchies. Let me look at D&D Frenchies real quick to make sure that we get you a chance to show off your dogs. If you guys have not yet sent your dogs to Andrew Mo Money, this is your chance. Go ahead and do so. Let's give AMC a quick look as well. So we had GameStop currently still a couple of percentage points shifting at 260. AMC closed at $9.83. That is 6% down, almost inverse of what GameStop action has had. But the volume, look at that, 250 million. That is insanity. Today a lot of people had ideas about what they thought AMC should be worth. So 250 million, we have a high of $12.47 and an open of $11, basically $11 flat. So AMC looking like it passed through multiple levels of resistance and support on the overall day. That is pretty incredible. We saw that the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence line, passed over the signal a couple of times. That would have been great places to buy. However, today was just messy overall, except now considering GME, just how many levels of resistance and support have we gone through? By my count, we passed through 10 solid levels of resistance and support that we got all the way down to 170, bounced off of that and came back multiple times, getting suspended along the way. So if that doesn't mean crazy saga, crazy legend to you, I'm not sure if you guys have actually heard of a more historic saga than this. I am Skydancer. What's going on? I came a little late to the stream. Can you give me a rundown of today on AMC? Still holding strong. Just need some of that good info. Yeah, we are going to move it on over to trades very soon, just after a little bit more news to be covered. Just to give you guys an understanding of the two of us, we are just smooth-brained apes, you know, but he has gone on my channel, and now it's time to head on over to his. Spread the love and make sure that we are looking at the most important pieces, the bare bone pieces of the earnings report. Okay, so D&D Frenchies, let's take a look at this cute little dog. That's very sweet. Let's give him a shot at giving us some good luck during after hours. Okay, Matthew Rappaport, hello. There they go. You have a check mark by your name, so that sounds, it seems very cool that you are here, so thank you for being here. Got a lot of liquid. So AMC, in terms of quick brief recap, we saw just ridiculous volume today. Hit a high of $12.50. That was at the very beginning of the day, and we just never saw anything on those highs again. Tried pushing just a little bit lower on $12.30, and then that was the big fall after a small rise. We saw an immense, like, stratospheric drop from $12.20-ish down all the way to $9.50. That's passed through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strong levels of resistance and support. Finally supported at $9.50, and then bounced off and recovered more or less back down to 6% down on the day. So unfortunately, AMC could have performed better, but honestly, we are alive after a big day. Like someone said, it feels like they just gave birth to a baby that they cannot keep. Oh man. Oh, hey guys. Let's see. Matthew Rappaport says he was popular on an old site, something Google Plus. Very cool. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Those ears, so sweet. How did Matt Core's stream turn into this stream? How did it turn into this stream? Well, welcome in those of you who are coming from the Moon Gang. Let's see some moons in the chat. We are here talking about AMC. Talking about AMC breakout. We do a breakout here. It's up to $10 at after hours, which is good. But I talk about a little bit more about exactly what breakout you're seeing here. Lily Berry says, good work, Andrew. Always up to date. Thanks. Appreciate that a ton, Lily. Hey, guys, if you've seen Brandon up there, he is waiting for this video to get to 5,500 likes so that he can buy that GME dip. So go ahead, drop that like on this video because he is looking for them. What's up, Mo Money? Says L Randall LR1. Moon Gain in the house. We got Paul Upperman. We got Nathaniel Wilhelm. Let's see, Moons, we got Curtis Biggs, Brandon Butler, BC, Sean Salinas. Awesome, awesome. Hey, we got to get those Moons in the house. Moon Platoon, that's the name of this nation right here, and we are getting it hype. We are getting it hype right now. Looking at AMC and GME, we have solid after our support. We are looking at just minor improvements from $9.83, and let's look at GameStop, just some minor improvements. Well, actually now it's starting to become just a sideways trading overall to 261, down about half a percent point there. We do have some news to cover. We talked about Mr. Roaring Kitty's tweet. We talked about how Mr. Josh, or Hey It's Pixel, has his own theory on exactly what's going on. Let's see if the mainstream media has some notes about GME, because so many of them decided to go ahead and say, hey, the GME crash has already happened. Very, very sus, to be sure. So let's see, even if there's no chronological problems, especially since the time zones here are probably a big issue, even if there's no chronological problems, it does seem sus that they wanted to jump on so quickly to say that everything is donezo. Moon Gain, Space Apes Unite. Everyone's a space ape on this channel. Let's get this bread. Reno Steel says, love you, smooth-brained apes here. So we are looking at some news here. What am I... Stop it, indicators. Okay, get rid of that. And now I'm gonna look at some news. GameStop shares swings sharply in volatile trading session. Of course, obviously. GameStop stock on a roller coaster once again. Now that short interest drops. Well, short interest has dropped from 60 to 35 to 50% and change. So as of right now, that isn't likely going to be the explanation. El Rando LR1, folks need to chill on Core's bots who are extra spammy today. Hashtag meatball gang. We have enough love to go around. I appreciate you guys supporting the streams, and I appreciate the Moon Gain being here. So let's get this on here. GameStop stock on a roller coaster once again as short interest drops. Even if you don't believe what the mainstream media has to say, it's really important to be able to have their little thoughts be part of your day-to-day, because at the very least you are now being a person that is noting what other people are thinking, and that's important. Very, very important. Okay, so hi Andrew, I'm a little late today due to work, but here I am. What's up, Chris F? Thanks so much for joining. Let's see, Jameson with the massive drops, then recovery today. What are we looking at? I've heard the phrase large volume attack, but honestly I don't understand what that means. It just means that a lot of shares were sold, either through the process of shorting, either through the process of naked shorting or coverage shorting, or they just had a lot of stocks that they decided to sell. And this is just how the stock market works. More sell action means the price drops, and then as the price drops, people who panic for some reason decide to sell on a dip for some reason. They will then start the process of more people deciding to sell on a dip, right? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to sell the dip. Oh, we got to buy the dip, right? Not giving you financial advice, that's just basic logic. GameStop stock on a roller coaster once again as short interest drops. Let's just see what Yahoo News has to say. Once again, GME is taking investors on a wild ride. And are you guys having fun? Huh? You know, guys gonna leave 5 stars for the roller coaster? That is GME. If you guys are gonna leave 5 stars, the easiest way to do that is to hit that subscribe button and that like button, by the way, if you guys haven't yet already. We're trying to get this up to 5,500 thanks to Brandon up there. Before reaching this apex of $347 right before noon, it plunged 43% to 198 in just over 30 minutes before climbing back up to 257 an hour later. Oh, interesting. So it has a low, it has a higher low than WeBull is reporting at 172. Amid all the action, the stock was halted 7 times before 12:22 and 1:12 p.m. Yes, this is true. Amid all this action, the stock was halted 7 times before. Oh, yeah, I already said that. While not as high as the 18 times GameStop was halted on January 28th, it represented another massive spike in GameStop's volatility. Okay, so let's look at this chart. Hopefully it speaks for itself. So January 10th, GameStop appoints Chewy.com founder to board. This is in the very beginning of Ryan Cohen, by the way. What a day, Andrew says 160 Club. Seriously. Then number 19 on January 19th, short seller Citron Research stock will be back to $20 fast. January 26th, Elon Musk tweets, "Game stunk." Remember that? So this is where Papa Elon decided to take it to the next level. And then right here, January 28th, Robinhood and other brokerages restrict trading. Yeah, do you see how that destroyed the momentum that GameStop had? And then February 4th, Robinhood removes all trading curbs here. Of course, then it's going to start trading sideways. And then February 18th, House Financial Services Committee holds a hearing on GameStop saga that basically did nothing except maybe depress the stock a little bit more, but mostly it's traded sideways. And then here, boom, 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 all the way up to the moon. Keith Gill, the original GameStop value investor, tracked the day's rides in a series of GIFs and videos from his Twitter account. We did see all his tweets. If you guys haven't seen them yet, we will cover them in just a second. Though Gill is GameStop's most famous investor, the positive price movement that began on Monday likely came from Ryan Cohen, the founder of who had previously taken 10% interest in a GameStop last September and joined the board in January. On Wednesday, news broke that Cohen would take a role at the company, taking over the reins of the e-commerce part of the business. If you guys were watching this special Sunday stream, you would have known this even earlier. So if you're looking for signals about how to make your investments, you are missing out if you haven't hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because we have covered the best news on here. Those of you who are on the live stream would have known this way earlier than everyone else who gets their news through a machine like a computer. Let's see, Patty Randawa, thank you so much for the super chat. Double down on GME today. That's to you. Thanks to you, and support Gorilla's cause, holding AMC as well. Patty, you did that for yourself. Congratulations. You did the research. You learned exactly what is fear and where to actually take your attendees and get going on the road. And that is what happened to you. So big congrats on those of you who doubled down and decided to get major tendies on the way up. After Cohen's prescient investment as well as personal history with founding and leading a wildly successful e-commerce brand, Chewy, investors jumped back in the meme stock. So the short interest shares, in terms of the short interest shares at 11.18, was at super duper high levels, and then down it goes. So one of the things is that, interestingly, the recent surge in GameStop shares had not coincided with an increase in short interest as it did during the last episode in late January. The current run is much different. Lacking any sort of short squeeze behavior either in the numbers or in the public narrative that previously saw short selling hedge funds pitted against retail investors looking for revenge. Speaking to Bloomberg Monday, Igor Dusanovsky, managing director at analytics firm S3 Partners, said that short sellers have lost $6 billion in 2021 so far on GameStop this year, $609 million on Monday alone. This may be the reason why short interest dropped further by Wednesday, coinciding with higher GameStop prices. As the graph above shows, this is the lowest short interest in a long time. If you guys follow the FINRA report updates that we gave this morning earlier, you would have seen some pretty important note that it was still highly bullish, right? Highly bullish. We are looking here at the FINRA report. This is GME right here. Actually, can I just zoom out? Thank you. Here is the GME and AMC on the left. Short percent of float is 19.5. That is higher than before at 16.7. So AMC is doing hot, and GameStop is at 52.04. That is just 8% down on what it was reporting 2 weeks prior. So it's not like people were suddenly bearish thanks to this FINRA report. No, they were feeling pretty hot about it anyway. So what exactly happened? Like, how can we actually make any sense of what went on during this whole fiasco? Well, we are going to cover that right now. So let's go back and see. Hey, it's Pixel. Charles Brubaker, thank you so much for this. The super SLGG, please review patented esports streaming platform. Is it a buy? So we're looking at SLGG in the corner here. We saw incredible growth of SLGG, just like triple digit percentage points up. As of right now, I need to do a little bit more research myself, so we will cover it in just a hot second. Let's look at GME. Hey, it's Pixel. He, in short, likes the stock. So we have his report here. He has put already up to 10 updates. It is getting late over in Germany, but he is very, very cool. Oh, he even put GME Nostradamus on his profile, so therefore he is into it. So one of the things is that here is Josh. I had talked to him earlier. I told him you are free to come on the stream anytime, and he says, how about 9 a.m. PST? And I said 9 a.m. PST is perfect. So that is exactly when he is going to show up. So get ready for that, because he is going to talk about his research that he did right here. So we are looking at what happened. Prepare for a sweet gamma squeeze. They can't stress this enough. Read this edits. Of course, we're going to read each and every edit to make sure that you guys have a full understanding of what is happening here. Remember, this is just one man's DD. This is already someone who has done a ton of research on it, so he has the important details of the backstory of GameStop, what kind of signals to actually look out for. So that is why we're going to cover this one more time. One more time. Miguel Lopez, Andrew, more money. Do you think that more money means more problems? Because I don't. I agree with you, Miguel. You're pretty smart. You're a wrinkly brained cookie. Edit 1. Someone wants this Shisa to moon really bad and loaded up on over 60,000 additional options between 300 and 400, expiring Friday, March 12th. That is an increase of another 20,000 calls from just 10 minutes ago. All right, edit 2. Another 8,000 calls at 800 were bought within the last few minutes. That is flexing at this point. Remember, each call is 100 shares. And so I hope you guys have already followed, because I've explained calls and gamma squeezes a ton. But essentially, this is betting on horses at a horse track and thinking that this horse is going to get up to $800 or else my name is Shirley, right? And don't call me Shirley. So we have a bet that we are going to reach $800, and it is going to be 8,100 share calls at $800. That is a ton of buying action when the stock actually gets up to that price. And as we've seen before, there are so many strikes, so many contracts leading up to the $800 mark, and today we have essentially doubled that number of call options that will be in the money if we get up to $800. 4.3 million put option 11:46 a.m. at Unusual Whales. Thank you, Colton.expert. You sound like an expert. Edit 3. Just refresh the options page 3 times. Seems like there's more and more options coming every second. So edit 4. They're going to update the numbers all later. There's no point because the call option volume keeps increasing every few seconds. Edit 5. Why did they do this today and not tomorrow so the SSR rule is active for Friday? Because they Josh thinks without intervention we would have mooned today and it would have hit 350, but the gamma squeeze wouldn't have been as big as it will be now. Take this with a big bucket of salt, because Josh believes that this is due to someone, an unknown institution, deciding that they wanted to test us like a mini boss level. So they decided to cause a huge dip to see whether or not we had the actual diamond cojones that we said we did. And it turns out the stock recovered just as tested, and it didn't stay down like it did back in January. Gamma squeeze, gamma squeeze, gamma squeeze, baby. Okay, so the gamma squeeze wouldn't have been as big as it would be now. That's more than 10 million shares having to get bought just by today's additional call volume. I think they wanted to make this moon even more all along, and now that this was the right and last moment to prepare for the biggest gamma squeeze ever. This is hopeful thinking. This is not corroborated by evidence that has yet been seen, but it is essentially confirmation bias to the greatest extent. Do your own research, of course. If anybody has any thoughts on the live stream, I'm happy to talk to you guys and get it going. Okay, hold on. Some of you are going to be put in timeout. Okay. Let's see if I'm missing any of your chats here. How to stonk, says Exploit. Let's see. Crazy AMC breakout. It looks like after hours AMC broke above $10.35, and now it is right back to where it was closed earlier. I wouldn't say that's super crazy. It would be crazy if it went all the way up to $12 again. Am I going live with Trey today? Yes, we are going to be live on his channel. He said 3 p.m. CST, sorry, 5 p.m. CST, which is going to be in an hour and a half. Let's see if he's responded. Even Matt is asking, when is the stream with Trey? So Matt, I'm going to say, hey man, it'll be at 5 p.m. CST. So there you go. Even Matt is wondering when that stream is going to be on with Trey there. Okie dokie. Oh, I missed a message from Max Mayer. Max Mayer, it wants me to check my DMs. Let's see. Max says that he wants to hop on the stream for a bit. Let's see if we can get him on here. Whoa, that was weird. Whoa, stop that. That was weird as heck. Okay. So those of you that are still here, we are talking about exactly what is going on with the game stonk situation. We are trying to talk about all of these collabs. We got a lot of people talking about jumping on and getting hype. Here is that link for Max. So we are not quite done with this yet. So they did the same tactic 2 weeks ago and found out about it beforehand. Just to clarify, the open interest for options gets updated end of day tomorrow. So then we will see how many new calls were added exactly. Volume is not 1-to-1 to OI. So seeing this huge spike at the volume at the moment gives me reason to believe that they added a ton of calls, a ton of calls. We have already seen the doubling of the certain amount of calls from the research that we did earlier today. So let's look at this. One, in order to trigger the SSR, the price had to drop to $222.21, and this is what the price. Let's circling this price. That's the price that it had to get to on March 10th to trigger the SSR. So if you don't know what that is yet, we're going to cover that. Don't worry, don't get confused. We're still with you. Hold on tight. Don't cry. The price rose steadily with more and more options becoming in the money. Before the real gamma squeeze starts, they want to make sure that Citadel and friends can't short GME tomorrow. This is basically cutting off the fangs of Citadel and the other hedge funds before they do something sloppy and dangerous. Central Hard Worker, thank you. I mean, AMC, you asked us if we're enjoying this roller coaster. Yes, because I think this will be the first roller coaster I've ever been on with a pot of gold at the end of it. It will also likely be, after the new regulations get put in, the very last roller coaster that you will ever be on. That is true. Okay, so Max has the Zoom link. He's free to come on anytime. While GME dropped down to $172 from $340, almost all stocks in the portfolio went red and looked the same. I think that someone was liquidating assets in order to load up on a lot more GME shares. Basically, they sold off their GME at the top and caused a big selling frenzy. And as everyone got out, they got back in. right? So they are trying to load up on GME. This is the theory that essentially was, hey everyone, look over there. And when everyone was looking over there, they decided to buy it back at even better prices. Edit. Seems like this was right. I think that someone's liquidating assets. So it's edit. So I guess that they were right. Remember, people loading up on the stonk doesn't have to actually be right now. They could buy options. And when the price of GameStop got lower than $200, suddenly you can buy $200 options. And that seemed like it was going to be very, very... it's like a catapult being pulled all the way back. It's going to be a very, very juicy asset to be sure. Okay, so back to it. When will this take to effect? It takes effect as soon as it's announced and all the way until tomorrow. I have to wait until looking at OI, another 8,000 calls, like he said. That's basically coming up to double the amount we have here. It sounds like Max is on the chat. So give me just a second to bring him on. Okay, 1 second. Let me try and make you bigger. Pin. And now we should see part of your face. Oh, all of your face. How's it going, bro?
How's it going? Can you hear me? You can see me?
Yes,
everything's checked out?
We can check you out. How's it going? This is Max Mayer, Stonk Jesus, and he is with us live. How's it going?
It's going great. You know, you checked those Palantir tickers today. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. How did Palantir do today?
It only finished up like 3%, but I'm up like 19% or something like that.
Now, 19 sounds like minor leagues when it comes to the crazy swings in GME and AMC.
That's true.
But congratulations on 19. It is good to see green in the portfolio, especially after seeing some of these people that became half millionaires. Someone talking about making $500,000 on GME when it was up to 345. They have lost a third of their portfolio now. What do you think about that?
That is absolutely nuts. Just the wild roller coaster, especially if you don't have 500 grand, you know, like also in your bank, and then you just see that rise up to 500 and then down to 320 or, you know, whatever, man, that is, I can't even picture that feeling. That's insane.
Yeah, it isn't too great. And I was getting, if I didn't watch this live chat full of positive attitude, honestly, I was starting to feel like very upset too. Just the sense that someone was playing with our emotions here is making me riled up. Back when it was right up before noon, we were looking at $345 height, and that was when we were charting out the new resistances and support during the pre-market. That was just rubbing up on the numbers that we were trying to surpass during the pre-market, could not yet. And I had I know you can't see me. Hold on, let me turn on my camera real quick so that Max can see me. But I had 100, I had 200, and then I had 350. So that is $350 right there that I was using to represent, but that quickly fell from 350 to 300. That was the first suspension, and then from 300 down to 200 and all the way down to 170, right? That was very scary.
Wild slide.
Yeah, wild slide.
What was your buy-in price for GameStop?
I bought in at 258, and then thanks to subscribers hitting me 35,000 3 days ago, I bought in another 1,000 as market opened. That was a great decision. And then hitting 420.69 earlier this morning meant that I had to buy another 1,000, and that was the wrong time to buy. So I think I averaged out overall, but it was a very bad time to buy at that point.
Yeah, you know, it's part of the ride too. It's good for entertainment as well. If you're making a couple bad buys, it makes for an interesting stream.
Yes. Hold on, I have a super from the God Pill. The God Pill is a big supporter of the show. He says, I don't actually like the DD from Pixel. Explain this to me. How are we going to listen to someone saying 10% swing in seconds causes a halt? It's fake news. 2 weeks ago Wednesday, he made 400,000 at 140, and after 100% gain, GME gain in 30 seconds. This seems to put into doubt Josh, Hey It's Pixel, who is actually coming on the show tomorrow morning. Have you read his news new DD, Max? Otherwise, I can update you on what's going on.
No, I'd like to hear the update. I briefly heard it right before I hopped on here when you were talking about it, but yeah, I'd love to hear some insight on it.
So it sounds like that Josh is consistent in his theory from the GameStop end game DD that he talked about a few weeks ago. Actually, yeah, that was almost a week and a half ago when he was on the show and just released that end game DD. He was talking about the fact that there's a third unknown institution, let's call it UI for now, that is playing against the hedge funds that are shorting and continuing to short their position in GameStop. Essentially, they triggered an SSR by dropping the price a certain amount down to where it would no longer be able to be shorted on down ticks. So that makes it a lot harder for hedge funds and other institutions to bare their fangs and try to hurt the price on important days that have potential squeeze potentials. That makes it that tomorrow is now in the limelight because it's going to be on the SSR list all day tomorrow. We suddenly see a ton of potential. So that is what Josh is doubling down on. Somebody did something today that was meant to essentially be a mini boss level to give us a sense of what everybody would do if there was a big sell-off and a lot of panic selling happened. Luckily, we got scissors in the chat. Give me some scissors for Max. Give me some. What do you use on your chat?
Those are me.
Monkeys or apes or gorillas?
Yeah, apes on rocket ships, money trucks.
Money trucks and apes.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Let's give it to Max.
So did GameStop finish down in the day?
It finished up. It finished up 7.5% up because it actually opened at 260, which was 269, which meant that it was down from when it opened, but it finished higher than when it closed the day before.
So I guess I was incorrect here, but I thought the short seller restriction was it had to finish 10% down from open.
Oh,
am I wrong there?
I need the chat to throw in their 2 cents because according to Josh, the SSR list triggers and accounts for the entire next day. So that is something that I want to be able to hear from the chat. That has been my, I'm always here to talk about when the apes might be right and the YouTuber might be wrong. We are looking up, sorry to change topics real quick, but AMC is making a pretty significant breakout. It is at an after hours pushing up from $10, has already surpassed that by a large amount and is at $10.90. Wow.
Let's go.
AMC.
Yeah, that's not too shabby, huh?
Not too shabby at all, and probably means
10%.
Positive stuff from the earnings report. I'm about to go on Trey's channel and talk about that. Max, it seems like someone is requesting you to give a caveman roar from HT the Stonks Stranger.
A roar?
Yes. Is that something you do on your channel?
I mean, maybe I've done it once. Every once in a while I'll do a little, be like the stonk, little caveman grunt, but
I like it.
Roar.
I didn't think you were one to roar either because normally it would be ASMR stonks with Max.
Yeah, I guess so. ASMR stocks, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy that AMC is up. Well, now it's up 9% after hours. But wow. What time is that earnings report scheduled for? I know it's just sometime post-market, but
sometime post-market. It seems like we are expecting it to not beat. Usually earnings reports are sluggish, especially as in AMC's case. The pandemic just started to ease up, so there's no way they would have beaten expectations just
right
now. But one of the most important parts is people are asking. AR has just sent a super, thank you for that, has talked about hypothetically what would happen when a gamma squeeze occurs. Like, will it moon for 30 minutes and blink and you'll miss it? Likely not. So if you want to look at a historical gamma squeeze, GME gamma squeeze back in January, and it stayed up on that price for 3 days. Or 2.5 days, let's say. So that is something to consider. Volkswagen is also a notable squeeze. That squeeze happened for a week. So even if you went on vacation, or maybe you had to take care of the kids for 2 days out of the week, you still would have made it perfectly.
Now, is the Volkswagen a gamma squeeze, or was that just a regular old squeeze?
Volkswagen was a short squeeze. That's one of the ones that we point to as a textbook short squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
Gamma squeeze is actually pretty relatively new. There's not a lot of documentation on gamma squeezes until January, February of 2021.
Right. One thing that bugs me a little bit about the length of squeezes, you don't hear it mentioned so much anymore, but you hear about the days to cover ratio. I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's a bad way to have a metric for how long a squeeze is going to last, because the days to cover is based on, I believe, either the 6 month or 3 month trailing volume. But on a day where there's a squeeze, you're going to have so much volume that that days to cover ratio might as well just be null and void.
Right, right. People are saying that the earnings report is already out. That's why we are reserving that for Trey after he gets back from working in the Army. We are going to talk about it on his channel. Let's see. Let's
It's ready out.
see.
Yeah.
So 555. People are talking about 5. It's already out. Let's just pull it up so that everyone can look it up. Let me see. He is only available at Matt Kors is texting me right now. So he's like, when is Trey's live stream? I said he is available at 5 p.m. CST. To be
Half
safe.
hour or so.
Yeah. We're getting some scissors in the chat right now. People are liking AMC for the number of movies that are actually out. I saw two movies recently. One was Boogie. It was the movie about like the Asian American experience, and then one other one. I finally got to come around to see Wonder Woman, but it was quite a ride. If anybody is Wonder Woman fans in the chat, let me hear. Max, have you seen any recent movies?
No, I haven't done anything in like a year. It's been how were they though? Were they good?
Boogie was okay. I would say that I resonated with a lot of the points of, you know, being like culturally about a lot of respect and Confucianism, and there is also like how to live in the, I suppose, inner city, or perhaps he was going to a good school. I missed out on a couple of those points. Wonder Woman was a completely different story. Wonder Woman was a different story because it was basically Bogo Wishman, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but it was Bogo Wishman has a desire for something, and then he loves his son, is the 3 things I got out of that plot.
It was kind of a mess.
It was kind of a mess. It was a big mess. There was one point she was commuting in the sky, and then she changed outfits halfway. Dustin Prince says, in line for EPS, beat the revenue by 20 mil. Wow, that's exciting. That actually might be accounting for the AMC rise here. So beating a revenue by 20 mil. I wonder what Trey has to say about beating revenue by 20 mil, because that is surprising, right? Especially because
probably like, it's not a dead cat, baby. That's
good.
Exactly what you got to say.
That's good. Scissors in the chat for that upcoming stream. Alan S says, it just has to drop 10%. As soon as it does, the SSR turns on. Keep up the good work. Thank you. That's what I thought. That is how the SSR works. I appreciate all of the knowledge in comprehension. We have 7,000 people here. That is a big brain energy, and that is how we make sure it's basically democracy goes. Whatever people have to contribute here. If it's time for your expertise to come in, let's hear exactly what you have to say, because Max and I might be the ones with the cameras, but you guys are the ones with the voice boxes.
And let's get Andrew to 50,000 subscribers. Dang.
Woo, woo, woo. Oh, man.
Been a good couple of weeks here.
Good couple of weeks. We were at 20,000 just 9 days ago. So 42069 we just reached today. And the next milestone is 69,420. Of course, just switch those around. So 69,420. Okay. I remember you were the one that posted that on your Twitter, right? When you hit 69,420?
No, I actually don't use my Twitter. I should use Twitter.
Oh, that's a good number.
That must have been someone else.
When I was following those of you that were like I was looking up to, I was like, well, one day I want to be a finance YouTuber just like Max Mayer, and now look at this, we're having Max on the show. Big amazing energy from Max here. If you guys like stonk ASMR, just an excellent amount of research done by Max himself. Check him out on his channel. We'll update the description to have him included below. Chris Stream says they must have shorted an ETF fund. Several stocks had the same dip with similar volume at the exact same time. We actually noted that during Josh's DD, and the reason that he gave for that is it is a bunch of people, or perhaps just one big unknown institution, that sold their stake in GME first and then liquidated all of their other assets to be able to catch GME on the bottom. Essentially, look over there, everyone, and while the price dropped, they decided to snatch it up either with options or with long positions. What do you think about that, Max?
So we're theorizing that there's some big institution that is. I mean, it makes sense. If you had a few $1 billion to throw around, you could really significantly change the price of GameStop. So, these institutions are as much as we don't like them, they're smart and they got a bunch of cash. So I don't think it's impossible that someone, there's always an institution on each side of the play. So it makes sense to me that there would be someone there.
Right. Some of us are a little bit curious about exactly if this is conspiracy level. Now, I would say that Josh has been very sure in the past. We love him. We love to hear his DD. No matter what, there's value in his DD. And we want to put respect on his mans because he is coming on tomorrow. And that's going to be a big part because he said he wasn't going to do any more interviews. And yet he is doing one more. Must this mean that the Gamma Squeeze is actually on its way for us to see the groundhog Josh Hates Pixel again?
So do we think that this is going to happen before that quadruple witching hour?
Quadruple witching day. This is, if you guys aren't aware of, the day that 4 different markets are having their contracts expire at the exact same time. We're expecting a ton of volume, and volume usually then slides directly into volatility, especially for these meme stocks. We do have a correction. Looks like ARK says it's not 10%, it's down 10% from yesterday's close. The super chat information might have misspoke. Thank you, ARK, for that correction. Max, we have actually in the DD from the end game originally. He actually talked about the fact that we might see the Gamma Squeeze way ahead of Quadruple Witching Day, in which case then the short squeeze will follow a few days or the week afterward. So that might be what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like if we talked about this a little bit before, but if everyone's anticipating the 19th, it probably will happen the 16th or, the 11th, the 12th, I don't know.
Right. And then people are calling you Elon Musk in the chat right now. People have called Josh as well. As it turns out, we only have Elon Musk on the chat at all times.
Elon Max, someone says.
Elon Max, that's fun.
That's sweet. So what's the most recent challenge, or what's the next challenge? You hit X amount of subscribers, you buy what? Or do you have one set right now?
I don't know, because I'm not sure when we're going to hit 69,420. If we do before Quadruple Witching Day and the squeeze has not squeezed yet, I would be very curious about buying in. I was actually heavily considering buying like a big amount to be like this YouTube challenge, but I was like, but in my head, I'm like, this is like inconsistent with the messaging, so that's why I'm not sure. But the next milestone is 69,420. So once we get there, something big is in store.
Here, let me help you out then. We'll do a challenge for Andrew's channel since we got all these people in the chat.
Ooh.
I can't buy anything right now, but I'll buy $1,000 worth of AMC tomorrow if we can get Andrew to 45,000 subscribers on this stream.
Whoa.
Which is doable. Only 1,500 subscribers. So
well, you heard it right here. Max is gonna buy $1,000 of AMC if we can try and bring those numbers up, ladies and gentlemen. What are we at right now? Let me see if I can find it. Up we go, and there's, like we always say, stonks only go up. This is the truth of the matter. Thank you, Max, so much. That's very, very, very generous. We are looking at AMC and GME support, not only from people like the Moon Platoon members like Brandon up on the top left corner of the screen over there. He's going to buy another $1,000 in GME. But if we can get 1,300 more subscribers, and I know there's 1,300 subscribers in there of the 8,000 of you watching, we will have Max be buying, when market opens, $1,000 of AMC.
Let's go. We'll do let's double it if I can hit 190,000.
Yes.
That's only like 2,000 away. So we'll double it. I'll do 2,000 tomorrow morning if we can hit 190,000 for my channel. That is.
Boom. Bring it over. Bring the love over to his channel. Way bigger than mine, but honestly, the generosity will continue. I'm going to send as much support as I possibly can over to your channel.
Oh, it's all about helping each other out,
I do appreciate it. Let's talk about suspensions. So today, GME got suspended, or like the visual. And let's do the visual again. So we had 350, right? And so then we cut off 50, and we got suspended here at $300. Then we went down a little bit more, and I remember this very clearly because my head is like, oh no, every time we got suspended again, and then we got suspended at around 200 and change. down there. And this was right before we got suspended at 200 and finally all the way down to 170, dipped right before, and then we got suspended back on the way up at 198 or something. Thank you so much for joining as a member. I just wanted to shout out.
Did you rip that 100 in half just for this visual representation?
I did, but again, I have to make it clear.
That pains me.
I have to make it clear that this is not real money. This is this is prop cash. If you guys wanted your own prop cash down below, it is in the description, an affiliate link. It's a pretty fun company. It says 4 Motion Pictures right there. So there you go. 4 Motion Pictures. This is a motion picture. AMC, baby, sponsor me.
You know, when the first time you held that up, I was like, he really just ripped that 100 in half? But okay, I appreciate that. Oh, people here are asking for the links to the channel. I don't know if it's pinned or I mean, if it's in the description or not. But...
I was going to update it in just a second, but let me do it right now. While you talk,
no rush.
While you talk about suspensions, what do you think about that?
About the little circuit breaker suspensions?
Yes.
In what context? Are they good? Are they bad? What is the effect?
Yeah, what does it do? What is it meant to do? And finally, are we supposed to be afraid of them, or are we supposed to like think that they're good for us?
Ultimately, I think they're good for us. I think it's good to just stop, everyone take a little breather for 5 minutes and recoup. Sometimes you see it just happen another time where they get suspended, you know, again in the next minute. But I think ultimately it's good because we can just see those, you know, those shorts happen. Also, if we want to be a little bit conspiratorial, you could always say that's preventing those short ladder attacks down to the basement, you know, because they can't just go straight down, you know, can't just drop 80% or whatever in 5 minutes. So ultimately, I think they're good. On the upswing, it can be a little bit frustrating. But chances are, I mean, not chances are, but a lot of times you see it on the upswing, there's a suspension, you know, it goes up more than 10% in 5 minutes. You see a suspension, it has this 5 minute cool off period. A lot of times there's another one that happens because then it gives 5 more minutes for people just to hop on and, you know, you see it jump up a little bit more.
Yes. And people are still talking about AMC right now. So I just added your name to the stream title. Go ahead and give Max some love. He's going to go out and buy $2,000 of AMC if we can get us to 45,000, just 1,000 away, and him up to 190,000. He's just a couple of thousand away too. So yeah. People are saying, look at AMC. Doable. Some weird action going on. It seems like they made several small dips down to $9.84, and now is still holding on tight at $10. Now that said, WeBull is weird at times. Sometimes it isn't directly reflected and has a little bit of latency. However, this might not be the case. There might be some pre-market shenanigans, aftermarket shenanigans happening right now.
Yeah, the aftermarkets are very opaque, especially the later in the day you get. It's not the most trustworthy, I don't think, but it gives you a general idea of the trend, which way is it trending, but specific percentages, I don't know how much merit you want to give behind it, in my personal opinion.
Yes, and that is one of the things to be able to consider. Like, do you want to be able to access the aftermarkets and the pre-markets? Because not every brokerage lets you do it. If you do want to, WeBull is a great option, especially since I've been saying today that if you don't have a WeBull account, you might have, if you get locked out of the market because your specific broker doesn't let you buy or sell for any specific reason, at the very least, you have another backup option, right? It's going to take too long for you to make an account and then fund the account within the time that a squeeze or something crazy drastic happens. So if you don't want to be locked out of the market, make sure to have a backup plan, and WeBull is a great one right there. So go ahead and use the technical app that I use right above. It's the one that gives you real-time ticker updates and lets you access the after hours and the pre-market with the link in the description down below.
There you go. I have like 5 brokerages, so I agree.
How would you rate them? Let's do a tier list.
So I use them for different things. WeBull has the best like charts, I think. So that's why I always use it on my stream. It's the easiest to navigate, smoothest, you know, UI. Robinhood also has smooth UI, but I don't really use Robinhood. I have like $200 in my Robinhood account. Schwab I use for most of my large purchases, just because that's the one that I had all along, and I just haven't really bothered transferring it over. And I use M1 Finance just a little bit. I just started dabbling with that. But M1 Finance is kind of cool because you make these like pies of all sorts of different companies, and you can, add it to one. So they're good for different things.
Gotcha. I'm gonna make sure that Trey is updated. We are gonna go and talk about the AMC report on Trey's channel in just a second. Let me know if you want earlier. Oh, look, he's responding. Then in 70 minutes. So Max, what kind of stuff would we like to cover about new initiatives or videos on your channel that you've been spending a lot of time on?
New initiatives. I mean, if anyone has any questions about any stimulus related things, I can answer that, no problem.
Nice.
But do you know about my heavy bet in Palantir? Did I tell you about that?
No, tell me.
So we talked about Palantir 10 days ago or something, and then I did some real deep DD on Palantir, and then after that, my idea was just to slowly buy in, just kind of eye the price. If it dips, I would make some significant purchases. Well, what day was it? Either Thursday or Friday, it dipped like 15%. So I ended up buying $35,000 worth of Palantir on whatever day it was, Thursday or Friday. Now I'm up like 19%. So it's pretty good.
That's a good bet. I mean, if I ever was betting on something and it goes up 19%, I would be pretty stoked about that. Once again, speaking of bets, we are having a strong bet of getting both of our channels up above certain milestones. I'm at 43,720 right now. Let's see if you guys acted on that subscribe button. Make sure to long position on that subscribe button. Just got 330 from Max's push, so we have 1,000 more to go. If you like stonks, if you want to be able to support your local Andrew from Andrew Mo Money and Max from Max Mayer's channel, go ahead and get us up to those milestones. Just need 1,000 more from my channel and probably 1,000 more from Max's, and then he will be buying $2,000 of AMC come tomorrow morning.
AMC, yeah, I'll buy it tomorrow morning. I think I'm like 1,800 away or something. It's a little delayed, so it's probably closer or less than 1,800. Yeah. But
I think everyone's excited about stimulus checks, actually. So let's talk about how that's going to affect the AMC and GME situation. Let's keep it relevant. What do you think is going to happen is it March 17th when the stimulus is going to come out?
No, it'll be a little bit later than that. So Biden just pushed back when he's going to actually sign the bill. He was going to do it today, and now he's going to sign it on Friday for whatever reason. I'm not sure why they need to wait 2 days, but he signed it on Friday. And then we don't know exactly when the first people will receive checks. Just for some context here, the first time around, it took 19 days for the first people to receive checks. Second time around, it took 3 days for the first people to receive. Now, that's the very first people. Most people, the second round probably took about 2 weeks for them to receive it electronically. This time around, I'm expecting a little bit more than 3 days because it's tax season. And remember, the IRS are the people who are sending this out.
Right.
And there's additional new tax returns that are just filed. So I would expect the first ones to come out about 5 days after the bill is signed, which would make it like next Friday. We'll call it the quintuple witching day now with stimulus checks coming out. But then, not everyone will receive it that day. So you'd expect it, within the next month after that will be, everyone will fit in that period. But something interesting I found, there's some research studies done on what people plan to spend their stimulus checks on. And 50% of people who, I think it was under the age of 27, plan on spending it on stocks. Ooh. So they're estimating between 30 and $50 billion will be poured into the stock market because of just stimulus checks.
Wow. So $1,400 to every person that qualifies. What is the math on that? How many people out with their 30 to 50 billion is that?
I think the total amount of people who received the last stimulus payment was around 180 million. This time around, that'd be taxpayers, so their dependents are separate. This time around, it'll be much bigger because dependents also get that $1,400 payment, which that's never happened before. It's always been a smaller payment for dependents. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a much bigger stimulus payment than any of the other ones before, especially for families. Like a family of 4 gets $5,600.
People are asking a lot of interesting questions about stimulus checks now, such as, is it true if people get $1,400 per kid as well?
That's true. And adult dependents too. So like if someone has a college kid, in the past they wouldn't have received anything. Now they get $1,400. If someone lives with their parents, like elderly parents, and the parents are a dependent, $1,400 for each elderly parent dependent. It's pretty crazy.
Okay. And what about small businesses? Do they? I know you have a small business. Would you get anything from this stimulus package?
So the last stimulus bill was very small business heavy, and those programs are still going on. So there wasn't quite as much this time around. There's an extra $9 billion that's going to the Paycheck Protection Program. There is another $15 billion that's going to the EIDL loan program, and some additional grants for like live venues. So there's not a whole lot of new programs or anything super exciting small business wise, but they just extended a little bit. A problem we're running into is the Paycheck Protection Program expires March 31st, and there's still a ton of people who are waiting for funding. So there's a big push right now. Me and a couple big lenders are like pushing really hard for Congress to extend that deadline because there's so many people who haven't received funding yet. So we're working hard on getting that extended, but it needed to be a separate bill because unfortunately they couldn't extend it in a budget reconciliation bill because of the Byrd rule, and it gets super complicated. But we're hoping that there'll be a separate bill to extend the PPP, and it seems like more than 50% chance that that'll happen.
Wow. Okay. Well, if you guys have any stimulus check questions, Max is here, and he is also waiting directly for that subscribe button to be clicked. Because the two of us have this little bet going on. We want to be able to try and get him to buy $2,000 of AMC tomorrow, and it just takes a couple of subscribes from you guys. I know a lot of you already have, so thank you for that. Do you know how to access earnings calls? Is there like a website? Because I'm trying to find the AMC one that's about to come on.
It varies a little bit. There's that Seeking Alpha a lot of times has certain earnings calls on it. You should be able to also find it on like their investor relations for AMC. Everyone does it a little bit differently.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look over here, and it looks like this is something. Okay, so it looks like there is the earning call here. If you guys also have the earning call over here, go ahead and send that on Instagram if you guys have that. I did want to cover it with Trey. Trey just responded that he is hype for getting a no. He says, I should be back in my room about 4:30 and have everything set up then. Have a title in mind. AMC earnings call bullish something.
Ain't a dead cat. Someone asked what the income limits for the stimulus check, so I guess I can answer that. It's $75,000 for individuals, scales down to $80,000 for head of households. It's $112,500, scales down to $20,000. I believe I'm a little fuzzy on that one. And then for joint filers, it's $150,000 adjusted gross income, scales down to $160,000.
Nice, nicely done. That is, oh, you know what? It should be able to do something on Yahoo Finance. One sec. Let's see, AMC's fourth quarter and year-end earnings conference call. How do I get in on this conference call? So
I'm searching for it too.
I think there is like Yahoo Finance might be able to have like a link that connects directly to it.
Someone says, do you know if you'll be able to withdraw from your 401k penalty-free like you could in the CARES Act? I haven't heard that yet. However, we don't have the actual bill text. So there's a lot of smaller programs that we just simply don't know about as of yet. So I would say just kind of keep your ears open for that, because it very well might be a lot of programs were extended.
If you see any other questions, just go ahead and answer them while I look for that earnings.
Sure, I'll look through the questions. If you guys have any stimulus related stuff. Let's see here. Can an S Corp with 2 employees file PPP based off of new payout for Schedule C filers? So the gross, I'm assuming that's asking about the gross income calculations that like bumped up the calculations.
Music is sad.
Sorry.
Unfortunately, you can only use gross income if you file a 1040 Schedule C. any other kind of entity can't. So even if you're a partnership, S corporation, like I have an S corporation, I wasn't able to do it.
Gift card. This is for you guys.
Okay, so
I don't know what those noises are. Excuse those noises.
just making some noises right now.
Max, why no live streams lately? I streamed today, but I think YouTube kind of hates my streams right now because I got a bunch of copyright strikes.
Oh,
So my subscribers don't get notified. So whatever, part of the game.
what are you getting hit by?
Well, I was streaming and I played that clip from The Wolf of Wall Street where he's like, "I'm not effing leaving," and then that got a content strike on it, like within seconds. It's like your stream is being blocked, and I was like, "Oh, geez." And then it got manually reviewed, and I've played music on it through Epidemic Sound, which I have a license, so it's totally fine. But they still flagged 62 songs on this one stream, and it's a nightmare to deal with those content strikes. But YouTube kind of puts you in the little timeout zone for a while after something like that happens. So I'm in a timeout right now.
Well, you guys heard. Help him get out of this timeout and straight back into your hearts. Let's see. Either way, I'm pretty sure in about 30 minutes, Trey is going to be able to figure out how to get into this earnings call. It's just going to be a call that talks about the information that we have already. So it's not like the AMC report is like an enigmatic thing. It does exist out there, but you guys are probably wondering what we think about it, and we are going to jump onto Trey's channel in just a second. Max, what do you think about, I think I asked this earlier, but I want to double down on it, how AMC and GME will be affected by the stimulus check specifically? Like, how are these two stocks going to change?
I mean, they probably will all the meme stocks, I assume, will probably see a nice little bump. Price-wise, though, if we think of $30 billion, maybe AMC and GME receive 1% of that. That'd still be $300 million each. How much is that to move the needle on a $9 billion company? It might move it 1% or something like that.
Right.
Just money wise, but could be sentiment wise. It could help. I think the biggest effect from the stimulus checks will just be the effect the overall market receives from this new cash coming in, which has already been absorbed and was absorbed on Monday after the bill was passed in the Senate. Pretty much anyone who was in the know already, if it passed in the Senate, it was going to pass in the House and then be signed by the president. So I think that's already been absorbed. And part of the reason why we've been seeing some green days here, because stimulus money is coming. So there's kind of that anticipation to, someone did hashtag free Max. There's that participation or anticipation of, more money flowing in.
Okay, it looks like we have the AMC starting right now.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to AMC's fourth quarter and year-end 2020 earnings webcast. With me this afternoon is Adam Aron, our President and Chief Executive Officer, and Sean Goodman, our Chief Financial Officer. Before I turn the call over to Adam, let me remind everyone that some of the comments made by management during this conference call may contain forward-looking statements that are based on management's current expectations. Numerous risks, uncertainties, and other factors may cause actual results to differ materially from those that might be expressed today. Many of these risks and uncertainties are discussed in our most recent public filings, including our most recently filed 10-Q. Several of the factors that will determine the company's future results are beyond the ability of the company to control or predict. In light of the uncertainties inherent in any forward-looking statements, listeners are cautioned to not place undue reliance on these statements. The company undertakes no obligation to revise or update any forward-looking statements, whether as a result of new information or future events. On this call, we may reference measures such as adjusted EBITDA, free cash flow, adjusted free cash flow, and constant currency, among others, which are non-GAAP financial measures. For a full reconciliation of our non-GAAP measures to GAAP results, please see our earnings release posted in the Investor Relations section of our website earlier today. After our prepared remarks, there will be a Q&A session. This afternoon's call is being recorded, and a webcast replay will be available in the Investor Relations section of our website at amctheaters.com later today. With that, I'll turn the call over to Adam.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Let me begin this afternoon's call the same way I've begun all of our 2020 earnings calls by expressing my wishes that you and your families are all in good health. And I will add to that on this call, and that vaccination comes soon for you as well. You all know that 2020 was a year unlike anything that we've ever seen. COVID-19 has dramatically, and in some cases tragically, affected all of us to an extent we never could have or would have imagined. Throughout it all, AMC never minimized the stresses that this pandemic put on our industry and on our company, which were corporately life-threatening, as you all know. On our quarterly calls, we told you of our resolve and determination, but also of our reality and distress. Our public disclosures were fulsome, robust, and fully transparent. We pulled no punches in describing the magnitude of our challenge, and yet we were clear that at AMC, we were absolutely committed to fighting the good fight and doing all that was humanly possible to save this proud century-old American company that has been a meaningful part of the American cultural landscape since 1920. And finally, today, we can give you an immensely satisfying report. As we sit here today, thanks to developments on so many fronts during the fourth quarter, and especially in January and February, I am now in a position to say that I am optimistic and confident about AMC's ability to weather this COVID-19 storm. Our focus is no longer on survival, but now is turned instead to directing a surge in moviegoing and on the recovery of AMC. Objectives that feel to us like they're right around the corner. AMC's accomplishments over the past year have literally been breathtaking since our theater shutdowns almost exactly a year ago. With what essentially was an instantaneous and almost complete collapse of our revenues, there was very little room for error. Simply put, AMC needed to execute flawlessly to make it through 2020, and that is exactly what we did. So why are we so confident, even ebullient today? 4 reasons why. First, we raised a boatload of money. Over and over again, we raised cash. Doomsayers wrote us off several times during the last 10 months, and many strongly doubted our ability to raise the necessary capital to survive absent a court-sanctioned restructuring. But happily, they were wrong. Now, they weren't wrong because they misjudged the risk. AMC walked quite a tightrope in 2020. But thanks to the tireless and skilled efforts of the AMC team, support from our creditors and landlord partners, and enthusiasm for AMC's future in the equity markets, since March of 2020, we've raised a total of $2.2 billion of gross debt and equity capital, including some $870 million of equity. We secured more than $1.6 billion of creditor and landlord concessions and generated more than $80 million in asset sales to weather the storm. Second, we have proven that we can operate our theaters safely and cleanly, and our theaters are reopening now once again. As for our safety and cleanliness protocols, they were developed in partnership with the Clorox Company and current and former faculty of Harvard University's prestigious School of Public Health, and those protocols have worked brilliantly. Some 17 million moviegoers have watched movies in our theaters since reopening, and we are not aware of even a single COVID-19 case having been transmitted at our theaters amongst our guests. To achieve this impressive result, of course, we did the obvious social distancing, mask wearing, seat blocking, ubiquitous cleaning wipes and hand sanitizer gel, along with a wide array of other sanitization efforts. But at AMC, we also were way out in front with high-tech solutions like electrostatic sprayers, HEPA vacuums, and perhaps most important of all, upgrading our HVAC systems to include MERV 13 quality air filtration. As for theater reopenings, we finished 2020 with only 67% of our U.S. and 30% of our international theaters open for business. This is down from the fourth quarter highs, where 90% of our circuit was open, both in the United States and internationally. But as we now turn the page on 2020, the year 2021 is already proving to be a much brighter story. As of March 5th, with the reopening of our very important New York City and San Francisco theaters, and a brand new theater christening in Denver as well, we are back to our fourth quarter highs of approximately 90% of the AMC domestic circuit being open. That is a much higher percentage of our theaters that are open than most of our major competitors and the U.S. theater community as a whole. We think that's a competitive advantage for us as we move to bring moviegoers back to our theaters as new movie titles are released. Now, as for New York, the New York City reopening is such a harbinger of good times ahead for AMC. Pent-up demand is a mighty, mighty thing. In just its first open weekend, the New York DMA was AMC's single biggest market in attendance and in revenues across the entire United States. It helped drive our weekend attendance a few days ago to be 250% of what it was in the last 3 weekends of January or in the first 3 weekends of February. New York's first open weekend gave us at AMC our best weekend results dating all the way back to March of 2020. And importantly, based on comments made yesterday and again today by Governor Newsom of California, we should be opening our theaters across Southern California, including Los Angeles County, sometime very soon, possibly, but not yet definitely, as soon as 9 days from now, on Friday, March 19. Incidentally, we're opening our theaters in Alameda County, California, what you think of as Oakland and the East Bay, 2 days from now, on Friday, March 12th. To put the magnitude of an LA reopening in perspective, as a movie market, the LA DMA is about double the size of the New York City market. And so important for us, given AMC's market share leading positions in these cities and in these states, almost 1/3 of all AMC movie viewing dollars in the United States takes place in just the 4 states of California and the tri-state region of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And finally, after a year of closure, New York City and Los Angeles are coming back for AMC. Looking internationally, our 7 theaters in the Middle East all reopened this past weekend also. And it's our current expectation that almost all of our European theaters will in fact reopen well in time for the big spate of movie blockbusters that are expected to start getting released in May. Speaking of movie blockbusters, the third reason for our good humor and secure state of mind is that after a long drought, one major new movie title after another is set for near-term release. Warner Brothers has Godzilla vs. Kong later this month. We hear that Disney is very firmly committed to an early May release of Black Widow. Sony just moved Peter Rabbit forward in May. Paramount just moved to Quiet Place 2 from September to Memorial Day weekend. Universal is holding F9, the latest Fast and Furious movie, with a June 2021 release. And speaking as a personal favorite, my favorite movie this summer, no doubt, will be the long-awaited Top Gun Maverick starring Tom Cruise, and which opens 4th of July weekend. And after that, it'll be one hit movie after another all year long. The CEOs of two major studios each told me that a good metaphor for AMC's circumstance is that we are LaGuardia Airport, closed by a thunderstorm with tons of planes circling overhead, all waiting to land and all needing to land. By our count, around 40 major movie titles that have already been completed were delayed from a 2020 release and will be released theatrically, hitting our big screens starting in May and beyond. Another metaphor that I've repeatedly used is that AMC is in the new car business, and that since March of 2020, we've had very few new cars shipped to our showrooms. Finally, now, those new cars are on their way to us, and sell them we will in massive quantities, I might add. And the fourth reason for our optimism is the brisk pace of vaccination. This very week will mark the 100 millionth vaccine injection in arm in the United States. And we are vaccinating now in this country at a rate of between 60 and 90 million injections monthly. For all the talk of the steps we at AMC have taken to bolster our position, the real salvation of our company will be because of vaccination. I know for a fact who the single most important person is in the entire movie business throughout 2020 and 2021. And no studio, nor any movie theater circuit is the employer. His name of the most important person in our business is Albert Bourla, and he is the CEO of Pfizer. He and his talented colleagues, and those of Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, are what have given us our newfound fortitude. I had the privilege of thanking Albert firsthand for the vital role his leadership has played in saving AMC. And those sentiments of thanks were never more deserved. There's more to discuss, but before we do, I'll now turn the call over to Sean Goodman, our CFO, to update you on the fourth quarter and more on the recent actions taken by AMC. Sean?
Thanks, Adam, and thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. I do hope that you and your families have been safe and well during these continued extraordinary times. As Adam mentioned, the fourth quarter was once again severely impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. The sizable number of our theaters that were closed for much of the quarter, plus the limited number of new titles during the quarter, significantly impacted our attendance levels and our financial results. Overall, our domestic attendance in the fourth quarter was 92% below the prior year, and our international attendance was 89% below the prior year's fourth quarter. The very low attendance levels ultimately make the quarter's financial results largely irrelevant. And so on this call today, Adam and I will devote very little time to the fourth quarter results, and we'll talk more about the issues that relate to our future. However, I do want to point out just a couple of encouraging data points from Q4. In our international markets, average ticket price was up more than 13% or 7% in constant currency. And food and beverage revenue per patron increased by more than 16% or 10% in constant currency compared to last year. In the domestic market, ticket prices and food and beverage results were similarly encouraging, with average ticket price up slightly and food and beverage revenue per patron up more than 22%. These statistics, which are actually even more impressive when you consider the discounted pricing on library content and food and beverage promotions that we offered during the quarter, were driven by a number of factors, including a higher proportion of evening and weekend shows, strategic ticket and food and beverage pricing adjustments, the success of our new and very popular private theater rental program in the United States. And by the way, we have already hosted 115,000 of these private theater rentals, a sure sign of consumer enthusiasm for the theatrical experience, and increased usage of our mobile AMC app for both ticket and food and beverage purchases. We used this pandemic period to roll out our mobile food and beverage capabilities across the entire domestic theater network. This industry-leading feature of our smartphone app makes it easy and convenient to order food and beverage items at the same time as one purchases his or her tickets, with these food and beverage items prepared and waiting for our guests, either to collect when arriving at the theater or delivered directly to your seat. So let's talk about AMC more broadly, rather than just looking at quarterly results. As of December 31, 2020, we had $308 million of cash plus $13 million of restricted cash. Our total cash burn for the fourth quarter was $110 million. Now, when we normalize this number for all of the cash raised during the fourth quarter, the monthly cash burn comes out at $124 million per month, which is right in line with our expectations at the beginning of the quarter and our previous guidance. At the end of the fourth quarter, we had deferred rent of approximately $450 million, with repayment terms being on average 27 months, although a number of agreements have repayment periods that extend through the remaining lease term, which in some cases is well in excess of 10 years. A reminder that the rent expense shown on the face of our income statement represents our rent obligation for the quarter. For the fourth quarter, actual cash rent payments were approximately $45 million less than what was shown on the face of the income statement. While future cash rent payments will continue to depend on our ongoing discussions with landlords, we anticipate cash rent paid in Q1 of 2021 will be higher than in Q4, while still being well below the income statement rent liability. Before moving off the topic of rent, it is worth noting that during 2020, we quietly and without fanfare permanently closed 60 lower performing theaters, 48 domestic theaters, and 12 international theaters. These theaters were mostly money-losing theaters historically, so AMC EBITDA actually will increase because of their closure. This is part of our plan to improve the sustainable profitability of our theater portfolio as we exit this pandemic. Shifting over to capital expenditures, we have continued to reduce capital expenditures to minimum maintenance levels. We eliminated all but essential maintenance capex and previously committed growth capex during 2020. During the fourth quarter, our capex spend was only $6.1 million net of landlord contributions. This is a full $152.5 million lower than the same quarter a year ago. Our net capex for the year, for 2020 year, totaled $130.2 million at the low end of our net capex guidance of between $130 million and $150 million. Net capex for 2021 is expected to be approximately $100 million, and this will be almost entirely maintenance related. So let's focus on the actions that we have taken to improve our liquidity profile, manage our expenses, and position AMC for success in 2021 and beyond. When we last spoke in early November, I noted that we had sufficient cash on hand to last through only the beginning of 2021, assuming no increase in attendance levels. However, I also noted our intention to raise additional capital to expand our liquidity runway. And from October of 2020 to January of 2021, that is exactly what we did. Firstly, our at-the-market or ATM equity offerings have raised approximately $870 million on the issuance of approximately 278 million shares in a little more than 4 months. You should note that $772 million of these proceeds were raised after our third quarter conference call. 2, we issued an additional $100 million of first lien debt financing, and we did this without increasing leverage because we swapped $100 million of second lien debt for equity as part of this transaction. Third, we executed a new Odeon 140 million pound and 296 million euro term loan agreement that provided approximately $411 million of incremental liquidity. This is after paying down our European revolving line of credit. And fourth, we also saw the deleveraging effect of $600 million in convertible notes that were swapped out of interest-bearing debt and into equity at a conversion price of $13.51 per share. Importantly, as of February 28th, thanks to the actions that we have taken above, we had a little more than $1.1 billion of cash on hand. We believe that this cash puts us in a very strong position to weather continued COVID-related disruptions to our business until attendance returns to more normal levels. However, we are not resting on past accomplishments, and we will continue to actively explore alternatives to raise additional capital and reduce our leverage. Finally, before handing the call back over to Adam, there has been a lot of interest in the number of AMC shares that are currently outstanding. The total outstanding share count as of March 3rd, 2021 is 450.2 million shares. As we move forward from 2020, we are doing so with renewed confidence that AMC and our industry has turned a corner. And with that, I will pass the call back over to Adam. Adam.
Thank you, Sean. For the past 12 months, our overarching focus has been raising capital to ensure our survival during this dreadful pandemic. And as Sean just described, we did just that, meaningfully extending our financial runway. At this point, with any semblance of even a partial recovery of movie theater revenues beginning this summer, we have enough cash to make it all the way through the end of 2021 and beyond. However, we are not done. While understandably we are pleased with the progress that we've made, that does not in any way diminish our intense focus on diligently managing our expenses, seeking opportunities to enhance our profitability, to innovate in driving the recapture of our moviegoing revenues from moviegoers who will come to our theaters once again, ensuring that we have adequate liquidity, and managing our balance sheet to deleverage. As I said earlier, 2021 is already feeling very different from 2020. We have more than $1 billion of cash on hand. President Biden has stated that there will be enough vaccines for every adult in the United States by the end of May. And the rate of new COVID-19 cases, associated hospital stays, and morbidity statistics, thankfully, are all declining. Theater openings are happening again. A spate of major movie titles are coming to our theaters again. Blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster. And all that is combined with a massive amount of stimulus money being voted upon in Congress this very week to jumpstart the U.S. economy more broadly. So, with this as a closing thought, I'd ask that you reflect for just a moment about the consumer, the movie-going public. Last week's poll from the National Research Group showed moviegoer confidence growing to its highest level since the late summer of 2020. With consumers feeling far more optimistic than they've been in at least 6 months about returning to cinemas again. At AMC, we also have been conducting our own proprietary research amongst the scientific sample size of some 2,431 AMC Stubs members. You'll recall that Stubs members represent our most avid customers. They make up more than half of our total movie theater ticket sales in the United States. Here is some fascinating information that has not been shared before from that research done just a couple of weeks ago. Our Stubs members were asked what out-of-home things they most singularly were looking forward to.
Uh-oh.
Doing
Okay. Oopsie.
post.
Got this laggy on there, and if I'm not mistaken.
1 sec.
That is the very definition of pent-up demand, and that is very good news indeed for AMC. Before we open the call for your questions, I want to touch briefly on 3 items. 1, Silver Lake's conversion of their convertible debt. 2, Wanda's conversion of their Class B common shares to Class A common shares. And 3, the so-called Reddit rally. First, on Silver Lake. We've always said that we believe that Silver Lake's convertible debt would be converted and should be treated and thought of like equity. And when our stock price rebounded recently, that is exactly what Silver Lake did. They converted and thereby eliminated $600 million of interest-bearing debt from our books in exchange for about 44 million shares of stock. This represents a conversion price of $13.51 per share and meaningfully reduces our leverage. Silver Lake has been a highly effective and beneficial partner to AMC since their investment in our company in September of 2018. Their guidance and assistance has been incredibly helpful to AMC. While Silver Lake has sold their shares, Silver Lake's personable and truly brilliant Lee Whitlinger still serves on the AMC board of directors, and I hope we can keep Lee on our board for a long time to come. Second is Wanda's conversion of their Class B common stock into Class A common stock. Wanda has been and continues to be our largest shareholder. Wanda's Class B shares came with a super voting feature such that each share carried 3 votes, provided that Wanda's economic ownership of AMC remained above 30% of the outstanding shares. Prior to our ATM programs, this feature made Wanda not only our largest shareholder, but also a controlling shareholder. With the success of our ATM programs, Wanda's ownership was diluted well below that 30% threshold during the 4th quarter. And on December 29, Wanda's Class B shares have thus been converted to Class A shares, each carrying a single vote per share. Wanda owns less than 10% of AMC shares at this point. Wanda still has 2 board seats, and I can genuinely tell you that they have been an absolute delight for me to deal with during the past 5 years that I've led AMC. However, with no controlling shareholder in place, now AMC will be governed just as is most other publicly traded companies with a wide array of shareholders. And finally, a quick comment on the so-called Reddit rally. Our focus has been on managing our business and directing its recovery. It's really not appropriate to say much more here on this earnings call. It's probably notable to point out that of the more than $2.2 billion of cash that we raised between April of 2020 and now, about 99% of that cash ironically came in before the Reddit rally. But as I look at all those retail investors, I realize and truly take to heart one thing among others: how 101-year-old AMC is a crucial part of the American zeitgeist. Many Americans have a strong affection for AMC. They've been going to our movie theaters for years and years, or for decades and decades. And we intend to get many of these people to very soon be ticket buyers at our AMC theaters once again. With that, operator, we're now ready to open the call up for questions.
At this time, we will be conducting a question and answer session. One on your telephone keypad.
What do you guys think of it so far?
So that is just at time. I'm sure there's plenty of questions about Reddit. There's plenty of questions about anything else. Max has been taking some studious notes for us. It is time to jump on over to Trace, but I do want to give you guys a too long didn't read. Seems like AMC, god of my dad's girlfriend's boyfriend, has given us the go around. What do you think about it so far, Max? What's the biggest takeaways here?
Well, I will say with earnings calls, the beginning is always the most boring part. The questions from analysts is always the most insightful because then they can maybe be caught off guard. It's really the parts that people want to know. It's always kind of like an advertisement for the business in the beginning. So the boring part's done. Now it's the more interesting part with the questions. So far, a lot of what we expected. There were some questions that I wasn't aware of with the cars in the showroom. Are you aware of?
No, that got me surprised. We got a lot of talk about Lambos in the chat. If everyone's getting their own Lambo, but what do you make of it?
I don't know if that's like when you're at a mall or something and there's a car sitting there. That's kind of like an advertisement. Maybe something like that in certain showrooms. I'm not sure, but that caught me a little bit off guard. But it sounds like it's something that they've been doing before. Something I thought that was really important is we said a third of the revenue is from California, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And those are opening all up completely very soon, with California opening up soon. Oh, yeah. So that's huge. A third of their revenue is going to be opened up very soon. Also, with the CFO, he said the cash burn is $124 million per month, which is in line with expectations. I didn't catch what he had said about shares. I saw in the chat there were people saying 450 million shares. Was that outstanding? That's when I briefly died.
That's when you briefly died. I'm glad we got you back on and above water there. One day I'll figure out how to exactly Zoom works. But this is generally, for the smooth-brained apes out there, positive sign that that's why AMC CEO has made his rounds over to CNBC, over to Fox, and now on his own home turf. It seems like he has been doing a very, very nice. And Gosu Ballardin, one of my mods, is saying he didn't hear anything about dilution. That is a big deal as well.
All right. What else was there? I just thought it was interesting that the closing of theaters. I know we heard that a little bit recently in the news, and he said that's going to actually increase EBITDA, the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation. So that's exciting if they can lower some of their capital expenditures and their rent costs and things like that, increase profitability. But so far, no huge unexpected things. I wish they talked a little bit more about Reddit and gave a thanks to the people who have increased their stock price and allowed them to convert debt and things like that.
Yeah, and we saw a significant rally actually in after hours while Mr. Mann was talking. The price of GME. Sorry, the price of AMC saw a strong support at 10.55. This was during the mid-call. Saw a nice, delicious green candle, several of which had let it push the resistance at 10.75, and now it is strongly above it, actually even getting caught by 10.75 at this red candle right here, testing its whether or not AMC can actually stay above that new level of support and resistance. This feels good. After hours has been very nice for AMC. Basically the opposite of what people expected. Originally, the theory was that AMC was going to miss earnings, and then we were going to see maybe a short attack that would have hurt the stock even more, and had been under the guise of just a poor earnings call and people getting scared. But apparently, the only people who are scared is Melvin and friends.
Yeah, sorry, I just saw someone who has almost the exact same name as my brother, and I thought it was my brother for a second in the chat, but slightly different. Right. It threw me off for a second. My impression was if they didn't hit earnings, it wouldn't really make much of a difference, because I don't think anyone was banking on a ton of earnings for Q4. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wouldn't have been a big surprise if they showed, not great earnings. I mean, we can't say that they were great, but up from Q3. So,
That's more than we can ask for, honestly, and that's why, as of right now, one of the biggest differences between GME and AMC The reason why you might have seen that AMC has been trailing behind GME in terms of just the volatile growth, 40% on one day, 50% on the next day, is the leadership. And now Mr. Stonk Daddy AMC Adam Aaron is giving us the go around, and his British accented friend as well, the bullish accent of AMC. Those two are seemingly going to be making big, strong moves to the future. And leadership is everything when it comes to making these perspective changes that will make the bulldozer, as Trey says, push the rock over, which is a long time coming. What do you think this is going to shape up for AMC later on today?
Well, I know kind of as the time goes past, fewer and fewer people have access to aftermarket trading. I mean, we're already looking at a pretty darn positive after hours with just about 10% up. So I think what we'll probably see is it close, fairly, I guess we can't really say close, but, fewer people can trade. It'll close up 10, 12%, and then just before market open, I'll probably see it spike even higher if I were to guess. And then at open, probably some kind of correction, but I think it'll be a good day tomorrow.
Hey, you just read my mind right there. We are looking at whether or not AMC and GME has been tested with this kind of mini boss attack that happened earlier today. We saw some pretty significant dips, but then those of you who brought the chips knew exactly how to make this party started. 1090 is now what AMC is pushing. This is not uncharted territory. This has been charted before the past few days. In fact, most of today, we were seeing AMC hovering at above 10, and then now after hours, it is starting to push at there again. So I am gonna transition on over to Trey's stream. Any final thoughts, Max? How close are you to that 190,000 subscriber count?
Let's see here. We're about 1,500 away. I mean, the people in the chat could definitely make it happen, make me buy some more AMC tomorrow morning. You've got to be close.
I am. Let me see how close I am. So you guys have just been witnesses to a bet between me and Max. We are trying to get me up to 45,000 subscribers. We are currently at 44,270. I'm going to carry this bet on over to Trey's live stream if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to keep Max accounted for if we can cross 45,000 subscribers on this channel. But 8,000 of you watching, I'm watching you right now. Hitting that bell button and that subscribe button makes the very first investment in yourself, learning exactly what is the most important parts of the trading cycle, the technical signals to watch, and finally the news. The news is 100% what we are here to deliver on time and with objective, without any subjective biases. Over on Max's channel, he puts a ton of energy into making these comprehensive DDs so that you guys have 100% confidence in what you are investing in and getting the full picture over on his channel as well. So go ahead, if you can get him up to 190,000, that's $1,000 of an AMC buy that he has to do. And if we can get this channel up to 45,000, then that is another $1,000. So any last words, Max?
No, let's do it. I think Trey wants me over on his channel as well, so I might pop over there as well. So we'll see.
In that case, we are both going to be heading over to Trey in just a second. So if you guys haven't yet seen Trey's trades, I have the past few videos just had his name in the title itself. So pop on over to one of those videos and then take that 10D train ride over to Trey's channel, and we will see you all in just a second. For now, but not for forever, we'll see you in just a second. Peace.
See you then.